Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Or, depending on when you're watching this, I guess good morning. A little bit before we get into the history lecture itself, I have 14 subscribers right now. So after a couple of days, I think that's pretty good. I posted on my Instagram story. If you don't follow me, my Insta's GrantWood2003. You know, follow me, like up my posts. You know, I'm just kidding. I don't care. But if you do want to get in contact with me, you can post. You can text me through there. I also can. You can text my number at any time. My number is 302-932-5030. I realize that's public right now, and I probably should not have given that out, but it's okay. Hopefully only people from PCC have it. So, but yeah, so Instagram, GrantWood2003. I posted on my own story. I got posted on 2 meme pages, which is pretty cool, you know, I mean, the memes. But yeah, so I'm going to be going over this lecture. So yeah, the point of these video lectures is just to help you guys out. I'm trying to make your HI 101 experience as easy as possible for this year, which is 2021, and hopefully for, you know, future semesters, future years, you know. I got a couple friends in freshman year that aren't taking HI 101 right now that, you know, are probably going to take it later, so shout out to those people. And then another thing I realized is that one of the things that I did not think about is that, so I'm Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Those are the times I have history. So the problem is some people have Tuesdays and Thursdays. So what I realize is it doesn't help you if you watch these videos after you take the quiz. Like, it helps for review for tests, but the point of this is that either you read, hopefully you read the book, okay? Read the book, like read the pages if you can, or at least read the bold terms in the pages. But if you don't, hopefully this lecture should be able to guide you through enough to pass the quizzes. I mean, the last video is like 26 minutes long. Hopefully this is going to be a little bit shorter because it's less terms. But like, you know, the whole entire point is this is just for you guys to, you know, do a little bit better on the quizzes and review for the test. For in-person lectures, this is very important, guys. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do 12:30 to 1 in Mackenzie Building, floor 4. It's room 422. So 12:30 to 1, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you don't have a class, if you don't have anything to do, come by to my lecture. I'm happy to meet with you guys. I go over the content just like in the videos, just a little bit more in-depth in person. It's a little bit more fun too. I get to engage with the people. You know, I got like by like 12:35, I would say I have like, I don't know, like 10 people in there by then, 15 by 12:40 probably. So, you know, shout out to the people that come from day one. But yeah, so, but if you're not in my class, you know, these videos are for you too, and for future people. So anyways, that's all I wanted to get into. It is Thursday, October 21st, and it's like 9:45. I'm gonna be trying to do them earlier in the day. That way you guys get the fresh content. It's not too late for me though. I'm gonna be up for a little while longer after this. But anyways, enough of the pleasantries about me. By the way, my name's Grant Wood, so if you don't know me, you know, cool. And my Instagram, GrantWood2003. Follow. Anyways, let's get into the material. So, on the supplement pages, which I printed off right here, it'll be helpful if you guys print it off. If not, just have it on your phone, take pictures. It's chapter 7 through 8. It's pages 203 to 206, and it's also pages 233 to 236. So, 203 to 206, and then 233 to 236. So, let's get into this lecture. Also, powered by Chick-fil-A. Hash browns. Yep. That's how you do it. Okay, so basically what I do is I just go through the terms. If you want to read the book, you can, but I'll be going a little bit in the book, a little bit of details, a little bit of depth, but yeah, we're gonna get started. The number one thing, Muhammad, that's the first term. It is found on page 203. So for my lectures, if it helps you guys, I put the page numbers that when they're found on the supplement packet. That way, when I'm going back for the test, I can look at exactly what page I found it, so it helps. So yeah. So, first off, this is all about the rise of Islam. It's about Islam. So, it's about all the Muslims and the Arabs. A little bit of background information. The Arabs were Semitic-speaking people of southwestern Asia, known as the Middle East nowadays. They were polytheistic. There was a supreme god named Allah, or Allah, Arabic for God. And they worshipped a massive black meteorite called the Black Stone, which had been placed in a central shrine called the Kaaba in the city of Mecca as their place of worship. So yeah, so first off, Muhammad lived from 570 to 632. He was born in Mecca to a merchant family. He was orphaned at the age of 5. So he grew up to become a caravan manager and eventually married a rich widow who was also his employer. In his middle years, he began to experience visions that he believed were inspired by Allah. Muhammad believed that though Allah had already revealed himself in part through Moses and Jesus, and thus through the Hebrew and Christian traditions, the final revelations were now being given to him. So basically, he believed that he was getting visions from God, their God, Allah, and that he was like the chosen one, I guess. Obviously, as Christians, we don't believe this. We go to a Christian school. We believe in Christianity. But it's still important that once we go into the real world, at least we have a basic information of what other religions believe. Like, I truly believe in researching other religions. Even if you don't believe in it, like, it's good. I always think of the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego story. Like, they had to learn all the religions of Babylonians. They had to live like the Babylonians with a few exceptions, but they still learned about it. They became wise in their teachings. They didn't believe in it, but they became wise in it. So that's a little bit. So just know Muhammad. He was, he had visions from Allah, and he became their main leader of their religion, actually, of Islam. So we're going to get into him a little bit later, too. But the next word you're going to have to know is the Quran. So the Quran, basically, they were the revelations that he received that were written down, which contained the guidelines by which followers of Allah were to live. Basic terms, it's the Bible. The Quran was the Muslims' version of a Bible. They had visions, they wrote about it, so yeah, Muhammad wrote about it. So his teachings formed the basis of the religion known as Islam. Allah was known as all-powerful, created the universe and everything in it, so basically like God. But then Muhammad, after receiving the revelations, set out to convince the people of Mecca that the revelations were true. People thought he was insane at first, but then he started gaining supporters soon after he left the city and moved north. So he moved to a city called Yathrib, but the next term that's down further, so it's down near the bottom, called Medina. This is where Medina is. It's later named Medina, or City of the Prophet. The year of the journey to Medina, known as in history as the Hijra. So the Hijra is the third term on the list, or departure, became year 1 in the official calendar of Islam. So Medina, what you have to know about that, it's the chosen city that Muhammad traveled to. And then the Hijra, the departure to this city, that's what Hijra means, departure. And it became year 1 in the official calendar. So their calendar of Islam literally began with this moment in history. So he started getting, people following him soon. His ideas spread quickly across the Arabian Peninsula. Going on to page 204. Goes into the teachings of Islam. Of course, the Quran was very important. It was their version of the Bible. It contained Muhammad's revelations, like laws, ethics, everything. But the important thing, the next term you have to know, 5 pillars of Islam. So this meant following a basic ethic code consisting of the 5 pillars of Islam. Belief in Allah and Muhammad as his prophet, standard prayer 5 times a day, and public worship on Friday at midday to worship Allah. Observance of the holy month of Ramadan, the 9th month on the Muslim calendar, with fasting from dawn to sunset, making a pilgrimage known as the Hajj to Mecca in one lifetime, if possible, and giving alms to the poor and unfortunate. The faithful who observed the law were guaranteed a place in eternal paradise. So there are 5 pillars of Islam, kind of similar to our 10 Commandments. They basically had to pray a lot. They had to worship Allah, their God. They observed a holy month called Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is in the spring, I believe, is when it happened. Because I remember I worked at Chick-fil-A, coincidentally enough. That's why I love the food. But I worked at Chick-fil-A. I'm from Washington State, so I worked there. But I remember Ramadan because this spring, what happened is we have a strong Muslim population in Washington, where I'm from. And what happens is, as soon as that sun sets, let me tell you, they come flocking to Chick-fil-A because they haven't eaten all day. It's against, they literally, during that month, they don't eat from sun up to sundown. They just don't. It's a way to praise him, I guess. I've heard of some Christians fasting before, too. I don't fast. I can't. I fasted for 24 hours once. It was horrible. That was bad. So yeah. Anyways, and they're also supposed to make a pilgrimage known as the Hajj to Mecca in one's lifetime. So yeah, that was a couple things they had to do. The next word you have to know is the Sharia. So So Islam was not just a set of religious beliefs, but a way of life as well. After the death of Muhammad, so Muhammad died, Muslim scholars drew up a law code called the Sharia. So the Sharia is a law code. It's provided to believers with a set of prescriptions to regulate their daily lives. So it's basically like the law. So it's like, you know how like we have the Pentateuch, the law, you know, like Genesis through Deuteronomy. It's kind of like that. Like they had a lot of laws in those 5 books, but this is called the law, the Sharia. So know the Sharia. So much of the Sharia was drawn from the Quran. So the Sharia was mostly from the Quran. It just was like their guidelines. A couple things they had to do. Forbidden to gamble. Forbidden to eat pork. They couldn't drink alcohol. And they couldn't engage in dishonest behavior like lying, cheating, stuff like that. Sexual practices were also strictly regulated. Marriages were to be arranged by parents. So that's pretty interesting. So no love marriages, just parents having their children be married to other children. And like unmarried men and women didn't really talk to each other, kind of like PCC. I'm just kidding, just talking like holding hands and stuff, but no, don't care about that. But yeah, so that's what you have to know. So in a recap, just real quick, going over the first like 6. Muhammad, he's the main guy of the religion. He had revelations from Allah. Allah is their God. The Quran is like the Bible. It's their set of rule codes, the law, basically what they look into and what they read. The Hijra was the departure where they had to go. That he went to the city of Medina. Medina, you have to know that. Medina, it's known as the city of the Prophet. So Medina was where he had the journey. It's where he started the calendar. And then the thing you have to know after that is 5 pillars of Islam, basically like the 10 commandments, just some rules they had to follow. Prayer, month of Ramadan, pilgrimage known as the Hajj. And then the Sharia. The Sharia was their actual law code that the Muslim scholars drew up after Muhammad died. So that's a recap real quick. We're going to go into the next thing. We're still on page 204, by the way. They have a lot of this stuff in 204. Then we go into the spread of Islam. So after the death of Muhammad, presented his followers with a dilemma. He had not so there was just like, you know, he had never named a successor, basically. He had several daughters, but he had no son. And back then, you know, it was all patriarchal. They needed a son. But then shortly after Muhammad's death, a member of his closest followers selected Abu Bakr. I'm just going to call him Abu. So Abu Bakr, a wealthy merchant who was Muhammad's father-in-law, actually, he was named as a caliph. So caliph is the next term you're going to have to know. It's on page 204. The caliph, it was, or temporal leader of the Islamic community. So he was just like temporary, basically. He was a leader. Muhammad and the early caliphs who succeeded him took up the Arab tribal custom of the razzia, or raid, in the struggle against their enemies. Some have called this activity the jihad. So that's another word you have to know, the jihad, which they misleadingly interpret as a holy war. So the jihad, if you know anything about the jihad, like nowadays, like Muslims use the jihad to basically kind of like wipe out non-Muslims. Like there's extremes and then there's like moderates, obviously, like with any religion. There's people that believe that the jihad is meant like the holy war against all people that aren't Muslim. So it's like how like the Jews were very, you know, anti-Gentile, you know, they didn't like any Gentiles back in the olden times. They were like that, basically. But they like, nowadays the jihad, like some people, the terrorist groups, they use Muslim as an excuse and they say, oh, we're just doing it for our faith. And then they do it on a jihad and they kill people. So that's what but the jihad basically just means a holy war. Jihad means striving in the way of the Lord. And then it was meant to achieve personal betterment, although it can also mean fair defensive fightings to preserve one's life and one's faith. Some people take it to the extreme, but it just means striving in the way of the Lord, interpreted as a holy war. So know that. So the Muslim actually like ended up expanding. So Islam ended up expanding. There's a map on page 205. I'm going to show you guys real quick right here. So yeah, so this is, okay, let's see. So the blue right here is the Byzantine Empire right here. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah. And then the red is Islamic territory at Muhammad's death. So this is when Muhammad died, the red right here. And then after that, Islamic expanded from 632 to 631 in the orange. They went into Egypt. They went into the Persian Empire. But then they expanded even more in the yellow when they went all the way through Carthage, all this, you know, Africa. And then they went into Spain. So yeah, they also went more west and east. West and east. So yeah. They basically just expanded over the next couple hundred years. You don't have to really know that. It's not a term. But yeah, just know that. So yeah, and then the next word you have to know is the Shiites and the Sunnis. Those are also two terms you have to know. They're on page 206. So basically what happened was, as one of their first actions, the Umayyad Empire, so the Umayyads was a type of empire, basically. The Umayyads moved the capital of the Muslim empire from Medina to Damascus in Syria. This internal dissension over the caliphate created a split in Islam between the Shiites, or those who accepted only the descendants of Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, as a true ruler, and the Sunnis, who claimed that the descendants of the Umayyads were the true caliphs. So there's two different types of people that basically, they like fought over this. So basically they like believe different things. So you have to know the difference. So the Shiites, spelled S-H-I''ITES, and then the Sunnis, S-U-N-N-I-S. So the Shiites believed that the descendants of Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, they were the true rulers. But then the Sunnis believe that the descendants of this people called the Umayyads were the true caliphs, which were like the leader. And then the Umayyads, I'll try to find where they came from. They were just established. So the Umayyads ended up being established as like the type of people they became actually. So the succession came to Ali, Muhammad's son-in-law, so Muhammad Ali, not the fighter, just this guy in history. He was assassinated, and the general Muawiyah, the governor of Syria and one of Allah's chief rivals, became Caliph. So this is where it started. So Muawiyah ended up ruling over the Umayyads. So basically he killed Muhammad Ali. And that's what ended up happening. So the Shiites believe in Ali. The Sunnis believe in the Umayyads. So that's what you have to know. Then we skip over to page 233. So let's go through the book. We have one more term left, so it shouldn't be that hard. Should be pretty simple. I'm gonna take a hash brown now. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter. The terms in the supplement were a lot longer because there's a lot more pages. This is just like 6 pages, and really only 5 of them cover or 4 of them cover like the actual material. Awesome. So let's see. Oh wait, the Umayyad dynasty. Yep, the Abbasid dynasty. Sorry. So the Abbasid dynasty can be found on page 233. So after the Umayyad dynasty of caliphs had established Damascus as the center, basically they thought they were corrupt behavior also helped to bring about their end. One caliph, for example, supposedly swam in a pool of wine and drank enough of it to lower the wine level considerably. Just basically rulers that weren't that smart. And then a descendant of the uncle of Muhammad brought an end to the Umayyad dynasty and established the Abbasid dynasty, which lasted until 1258. So the Abbasid Empire lasted from like 750 to 1258. So it's a long empire. It's like 500 years. So that's what you're going to have to know. So the Abbasid dynasty, this is the term, Abbasid. Abbasid rulers brought much change to the world of Islam. They tried to break down the distinctions between Arab and non-Arab Muslims. All Muslims, regardless of their ethnic background, could now hold both civil and military offices. This helped open Islamic life to the influences of the civilizations the Arabs had conquered. Many Arabs now began to intermarry with the people they had conquered. They built a new capital city in Baghdad on the Tigris River. It was a good place for a capital. Under the Abbasids, judges, merchants, and government officials rather than warriors were viewed as the ideal citizens. Experienced a period of splendid rule well into the 9th century. Best known of the caliphs of the time was a guy named Harun al-Rashid. You're not going to have to know him for this test. You might have to know him in later, but we'll be good not knowing him for now. So yeah, that's what you have to know about this dynasty, basically. It did well. It prospered until like the 1200s, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically the book, guys. I mean, it's not going to be a long video today. It's going to be barely over 20 minutes because I'm going to talk a little bit more. But yeah, so that's basically all you have to know. I just went over all the terms. You can go back and watch the video again if it helps. Watching 2 times speed, whatever you got to do for the YouTube. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, Muhammad, Quran, Hijra, 5 pillars of Islam, Sharia, Caliph, Jihad, Medina, Shiites, and Sunnis, Abbasid dynasty. So let's test myself, see what I know without the book. Okay. So Muhammad, he's the leader of the people. He's basically their version of Jesus, kind of, if you want to think about it that way, but don't call him Jesus, because there's only one Jesus, right? Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. But Muhammad, he's the one that got supposedly revelations, and he believed he was like the leader of the people of the religion of Islam. The Quran is basically their Bible. You can relate a lot to Christianity because they're similar. Again, I do quotation marks on purpose. The Hijra was what was the specific word? Hijra was like traveling, like the pilgrimage kind of like when they moved the city to Medina. So when he moved to Medina, it was like the traveling thing. I'm gonna double check the correct word because I don't want to mislead you guys. But it's like the traveling. Departure. Yeah, I had it. Departure, traveling, same thing. So the departure. And then 5 pillars of Islam, their law code, basically. The Sharia was their law code. The 5 pillars of Islam was just things they stood by. It was the prayers, the Ramadan, they don't eat from sunrise to sunset in the 9th month of their calendar. A couple other things they believed during that time. And then the law code, the Sharia, that was basically their law. The Caliph was like a leader. Caliph. And then the jihad was their holy war. It wasn't supposed to be too much of a war, but people have made it into more of a war. It was basically just to like defend their faith, basically, but it is a war, holy war. Medina was their capital city for the early part of Islam. Medina, that's where Muhammad traveled to. The Shiites and the Sunnis. So the Shiites believe that Muhammad's son-in-law, Muhammad Ali, again, not the boxer, Ali, he was the rightful heir, and all his descendants were supposed to be the caliphs, the emperors, the rulers, whatever you want to call it, but it is called the caliphs. And then the Sunnis believe that it was anyone under the dynasty before the Abbasid, which is the one you have to know, but it starts with a U, 206. Dang, I should know this more. They believe the Umayyads. So yeah, the Umayyads, they believe that descendants of the Umayyads were the true caliphs. And then you have to know the Abbasid dynasty lasted from about the 500s to the 1200s. It was a good dynasty, prosperous, very prosperous, expanded after this. Yeah, they really made distinctions between Arabs and non-Arab Muslims. And yeah, that was a new capital city in Baghdad. A couple stuff you have to know. But yeah, that's basically the chapter. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't cover that's not in the terms, so still read the book if you would like. But that's basically what you're going to have to know for the quiz. And then obviously take notes in class. That's what we're testing on more. Like, honestly, this is what I mean. Like, you don't have to read the book. Like, these videos are hopefully meant that you don't have to read the book. Now, let me tell you, I'm still suggesting you read the book. Don't get me wrong. But yeah. But anyways, I want to thank you guys. I'm at 14 subscribers, and that's pretty cool. I've never made a YouTube video before the other day, so that's cool. Keep on subscribing, keep on liking, and I'll keep on making videos for you guys. Hopefully, at some point on Saturday, I'm really busy on Saturday, but if I can wake up, I will do the October 25th, Chapter 7, pages 196 to 203. I will try and get that done on Saturday. I'm actually leaving campus for the weekend, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get that done. Again, I'm a busy person. I mean, I just do this, guys, for you. I just do this for you guys, basically. I don't edit my videos either. It's just kind of whatever flows out of my mouth. I mean, I'm just, like, honest with you guys. I don't edit. I thought about editing the videos, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to lecture to you guys, you know? You got a casual Grant with the white t-shirt under, you know, unlike the collared shirts. But, yeah, I hope this video helped you guys, and hopefully you guys are ready for the quiz. Yeah, so like and subscribe. And yeah, I'm going to be doing those cringy YouTube things that everyone says, like, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, you know, like and subscribe to my channel, you know, all that stuff. I don't watch YouTube too much. I just watch it for, like, certain things, like sports, comedy, stuff like that. But anyways, yeah, one last time, you need to contact me. Grantwood2003 is the Instagram. Message me on that. Add me, whatever you want to do. If not, don't worry about it. Don't care. But yeah, hopefully this helped you guys. I'm going to go to bed. It's 10:05 now. So anyways, enjoy the video. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen, and have a good rest of your day. And if you want to meet in person, just text me through Instagram. So yeah, I do study groups. I'm perfectly fine with doing lectures in the MK building at nights, depending on how busy I am. I'll do an in-person lecture that's longer for tests. The next test for me is let's see, actually, that's important to know, because I will be doing a lecture. The next test for me is November 1st. So in late October, I will be putting on some lectures for Unit 3 test in late October. So yeah, anyways, have a good rest of your night, y'all.